from JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Thursday, September the 15th, 2016. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu extended his gratitude to U.S. President Barack Obama, to the U.S. Congress, and to the American people for the historic $38 billion deal signed yesterday of military aid for Israel from the U.S.
ההסכם הזה ממחיש אמת פשוטה. היחסים בין ישראל לארצות הברית איתנים עוצמתיים. אין זה אומר שאין בינינו מחלוקות מעת לעת, אבל אלו מחלוקות בתוך המשפחה. הן אינן משפיעות כהוא זה על הידידות הגדולה בין ישראל לארצות הברית. ידידות שמתבטאת בהסכם הזה, שיסייע רבות להמשך ביצור כוחה של ישראל בעשור הקרוב.
President Obama stressed the strong bond between the two nations as well and called the Memorandum of Understanding just the most recent reflection of my steadfast commitment to the security of the State of Israel. Obama said both Prime Minister Netanyahu and I are confident that the new MOU will make a significant contribution to Israel's security in what remains a dangerous neighborhood. He said the continued supply of the world's most advanced weapons technology will ensure that Israel has the ability to defend itself from all manners of threats. The president also noted that because of the U.S.'s commitment to Israel and its long-term security, it will continue to push for a two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And Jewish organizations here in the U.S. welcomed the defense aid deal as well, the largest from the U.S. to any nation. B'nai B'rith International commended the deal, saying that as a result of the MOU, America's most reliable democratic ally in the Middle East will become better equipped to defend itself against the unprecedented threats it faces from authoritarian regimes and terrorist organizations. The agreement, it said, represents an important investment not only in Israel's security, but in U.S. national security interests. CEO of the American Jewish Committee, David Harris, said bravo to the administration for achieving this path-breaking agreement with Israel. He said the MOU demonstrates once again America's steadfast commitment to Israel's security and to the enduring bonds between Washington and Jerusalem. The Antidefamation League hailed the deal as well, calling it a resounding and tangible demonstration of the enduring U.S.-Israel relationship. CEO Jonathan Greenblatt said Israel today faces a region racked by instability and emerging threats from Iran, ISIS, Hamas, and Hezbollah, and others. He said with this agreement, the United States is demonstrating that vital support for Israel's strategic military edge is a key pillar of America's strategy to secure stability in an increasingly volatile Middle East. A rocket fired from Gaza landed in Israel yesterday evening. The rocket exploded in southern Israel in the Eshkol Regional Council in an open area, and no damage or injury was caused. Israeli fighter jets retaliated for the mortar strike overnight last night, hitting 3 Hamas terror targets in Gaza. The IDF spokesperson's unit said that it held Hamas exclusively responsible for all activities in the Gaza Strip and would continue to operate in a determined manner in order to maintain peace and quiet for Israel's southern residents. Earlier yesterday, a projectile from Syria landed once again on the Israeli side of the Golan Heights in Israel's north, just the latest incident of spillover from the Syrian civil war. No injury was reported there. Yesterday's incident marked the 7th time in the last few days that a shell landed in Israeli territory from Syria. And today, the U.S. State Department announced a travel warning to American citizens regarding the Golan Heights. The warning was issued by the U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv and the U.S. Consulate in Jerusalem. It said, "We urge U.S. citizens to carefully consider and possibly defer travel to the area until the situation stabilizes." Well, former Israeli President Shimon remains in serious but stable condition today after suffering a stroke earlier this week. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu visited Peres in the hospital last night, where he said Peres was better than the day before and that hopefully tomorrow he would be even better than today. Netanyahu thanked the medical staff at Sheba Medical Center, where the elder statesman is being treated, for their dedicated care. Peres's office released a statement today saying that last night was a quiet one with no change. Director of the neurosurgical unit at Sheba, Dr. Ze'ev Feldman, said today of Peres that yesterday his situation and his alertness improved and his responses were better. The doctor said this pattern is also continuing today, adding that Peres is still being treated by the emergency neurosurgical unit. The treatment includes the continuation of optimal conditions for recovery, and we hope that this treatment and the efforts that we are undertaking will bear fruits in the future. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Thursday, September the 15th. At 7:30, the director of No Place on Earth is featured on New Jewish Cinema. At 8, a member of the Israeli fencing team at the 72 Munich Olympics, Dan Alon, recounts the hostage-taking and murder of 11 of his teammates. At 9 o'clock, Mark Golub sits down with New York City homicide detective Morty Jacansky, who talks about his experience during 9/11. And at 10, feminists Eva Fogelman and Sharon Weiss Greenberg discuss the 3 waves of Jewish feminism at Limud 2016. And coming up right after this newscast tonight, I speak with attorney Kent Yalowitz, who led the trial team in the lawsuit brought against the PLO and Palestinian Authority on behalf of American victims of terror attacks in Israel that received a landmark verdict, which 2 weeks ago was reversed by a federal appeals court. That's on tonight's In the News at 6:30 as I sit in for Mark Golub. And that's the JBS News Update for Thursday, September the 15th, 2016. I'm Teisha Bader.